You have a new member?
He hasn't been sworn in yet.
Ah. Okay. Well,
Ivan gets one in last night, so we can use him. Just got he was here. He's been here for every meeting now.
It's not come up on the TV.
I see it.
Oh, is it up there?
No, that's something else.
Oh, that's something that's fine.
Somewhere in red pants, and I didn't know about it, or
I think that's
Says we're live.
That's the selectmen's meeting. Is it?
Well, it's recording, so.
All right. Well,
all right. So we'll call the meeting to order since we have a quorum. First meeting open to the public. Any public input? No public input. Do we have any field or facility requests?
we have one.
yeah. Michael Byers, he's the coach of an ECF 14U softball team, along with Brittany McNullah. They both reside in Litchfield. They're looking to get some field time, 2 hours either at Dara or GMS. And we would like a weekend day, and then after June 20th, we would love one weekend day and one weekday. And it could be two weekday times. They'll be as flexible as we need them to be.
Now, because from the email, they were looking for either something at Dara or at GMS, correct?
Yes.
I mean, GMS is probably going to be a lot easier to do schedule-wise.
Probably, yeah.
Well, Howard, you have it pretty well booked.
Yeah,
again,
you guys don't do it. You don't do anything there on Sundays, right?
no.
again,
We, Dara would be the same. Sundays would be the option.
we don't. Again, we don't control GMS though.
No, I'm just saying that might be their better option. Is
So they just have to go through the school system.
they'd have to go to school. They'd have to go through the school system for GMS anyway. And we wouldn't really be able to tell them anything specifically until we got softball's official schedule and know what the openings are.
For Dara. Yeah.
I mean, in the past, what we've done is we've had, like, that organization contact LGSL and say, hey,
Yeah.
if you can work something out, let us know. Instead of being in the go-between every 2 weeks when we have a meeting, I think it's going to be a lot cleaner and a lot quicker to say, okay, contact LGSL, and then, and the only other thing that we'd have to do is, and I can contact them because we're going to need insurance and we're going to need criminal background checks. They're going to have to be registered with the state.
I don't know if he's aware of that. Because I have a similar request for our team that is very similar to what Mike does, but for a different organization. But I'm still waiting on the state side of things to
Is that
for
Mystics?
that's for the Hurricanes.
Okay.
I think there's 3 organizations that are looking to do
Because the
something.
Mystics are already on the state website. for
Right.
us.
So I'm just waiting for that. I don't know if Mike Byers is aware of that requirement, so I can talk to him
Okay.
and make sure that he's familiar. And I know they're insured, so we can get the information from him there.
Where I get the state site pulled up right now. I can't remember what's
It's under the Department of Water. And,
DES, right? New Hampshire DES?
no.
Because DES handles parks and recreation, I believe.
Right, but I think this is something different. It's weird.
I'm just going to take a quick look through and see.
Yes, NH.gov. Divisions, Water, Youth Skills Index. See, I just have it bookmarked. Divisions, Water Division, Program Bureaus, Units, Drinking Water, and Groundwater Bureau.
So then, where do we under?
And then it's, the listing is under certification form, youth skill, this is right under hot topics, youth skill camps operating in New Hampshire, 2017.
Oh, yeah, do you want to do youth recreation camp licensing program or the youth skills? Youth skills.
Youth skills.
Okay. All right. 2017. And what is the name of the organization?
I'm sure they won't be listed because they didn't know. Because not only do they have to be listed, they have to be listed to operate in the town that they're operating in. So if they're listed to operate in Merrimack, we still they need to add us to that.
What does ECF stand for?
East Coast Firecrackers.
Yeah, they're not there right now.
The Mystics are on it though.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. Did they request a time yet? I know through LGSL they had requested, they had at least informally made some inquiry about it, but I don't know. I'm not sure what their plan is.
But Litchfield's on the ball. Pretty much everything we have is right there. So
Yeah.
And again, it's one of those things. Even for the Mystics, they're going to need to submit a copy of their insurance. Not binder. What's it called? Certificate of insurance.
And we're going to need that from all the groups now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's the state, the youth skills licensing requirement that we, right, the
Right.
$25 fee and getting on that list, the insurance, and then is that everything they need now?
Right.
Okay.
I don't know if the school requires them to be on that list, but we do.
The
Well,
school
they should.
Yeah.
I know they should, but
Yeah.
Right.
The school definitely requires the certificate of insurance, though.
Right.
So.
yeah, I had to. We had our evaluations, and I thought our certificate was fine. And she, like Friday, she made me give her a certificate for Saturday. Luckily, everything worked out. But yeah, they're very they're tight about that, which is fine. That's great. I mean,
So just going forward with all these requests, that if I hear people talking about it, Sundays are, at least for you guys, you're not using GMS on Sundays.
no, yeah, Sunday's wide open. Hopefully, last year using GMS. So. And Andy, you don't have to deal with that fake mound this year.
what?
You don't have to deal with the 1,000-pound mound.
I know.
So I will contact Mike and make sure he's aware of the requirements and suggest that he look into the school first and then follow up with us if needed.
That's all that we have for.
We did get that request from Jeff Pearl. I don't know if it was really a request. It was more of a
To do the charity thing for
Yeah.
talent. Yeah. You looking for it, or did you find it?
no. I found it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it was mainly a how do I reserve talent hall for a fundraising event? Is there a contact person in charge? They sent it over. John answered. What event are you organizing? What group are you affiliated with? And then basically it was, I was toying with putting together a fundraising event for a charity that funds research for my wife's heart condition. Originally I had a guy who does hypnotism shows, but I found out he made changes. I found out how much she charges, so it made me be a no-go. He's like, I have no idea what I'm doing yet. For now, I was just looking to get contact info. So I don't know if that was the end of the inquiry where he was just looking for contact info on to what to do, because there's no dates, there's no times, there's nothing more in depth than that. So
I guess that if it's a private use as opposed to an organization, there might be an issue there, right? I mean,
Right.
if it's a charitable fundraiser, if he's doing something like that, it might be something we could consider
Well, I mean,
sponsoring.
if it's a one-time event like that, a lot of groups, they can just get a rider for that one evening, for that one event. They can get, and I think it's like $400 to get insurance for that one evening. I mean, that would cover them for the insurance part. There's no youth involved, so they don't have to worry about registering with the state. And then
that comes down to a lot of times what we do, which is co-sponsor.
Right. And I think for a charitable event or something like that, then it's something that we should or could consider, co-sponsoring as opposed to like a birthday party or something like that.
Right. So, I guess it's a matter of waiting to see what the official request is before we even further discuss.
Did he get a response at all?
Not after that email. Because at the end, John responded to him,
Okay.
and then it said, "For now, I was just looking at contact info." So, I don't know if just a contact person was enough, where John responded. Now he has the rec commission's contact information, and he's good for when he'll get everything ready and lined up, ducks in a row. That's basically what it sounded like at that point.
Okay. I think we were contacted by, this isn't a request, but Kevin Lynch about the porta potty was replaced. I guess I didn't see what happened to it.
It tipped over apparently.
Was it vandalism or wind? Or
I know
it was,
wind.
it was really windy. So I did see, it looked like they brought the new one because it's in a different spot now. But there was one other thing there too. Oh, for the batting cages at Dara, we've been waiting. The weather's every time we get snow and we say, okay, we can do this, and by the time Jack tries to get it into his schedule, we get rain or it melts or whatever. So he's had a hard time getting. He was supposed to do it today, and of course it was too wet.
Yeah.
So he's just trying to find a balance between, being able to get in there, but also having some protection on the ground, either frost or snow or both. So it's, I know it's supposed to get a little snow at the end of the week. I don't know if that'll help or not, but there's only 2 trees, but we're just trying to limit the damage to the grass. And
Right. Yeah.
He said he wanted to drop him on the field, so it's the only way to go with him, I guess.
yeah,
so.
I mean, you can either go back in towards Albuquerque and the trees. You get the shed on one side and the fence on the other. So we're just trying to find a good time. We can't really get in there with any equipment to do anything until the ground dries out anyway. So it's not like holding us up necessarily, but we can get it
A
done
couple of
soon.
nice ponds. on each side.
LGSL?
No,
Yeah.
It needs to be built up again. Huh?
Oh, ECF.
Yep.
I wonder if
Yeah, ECF.
Continental's supposed to grind the basketball court. They said they'd grind it.
Put
What
the grindings.
Put the grindings in the parking lot. I mean, if it's worth it, and then
Yeah.
maybe we could get Jack or someone down there just to, they'll probably do it.
Well, I think if they grind it, they reclaim it, don't they?
Well, they do one or two things. Either they're going to grind it in place, which they do a lot now, and just reshape it and then pave over it, or they're going to grind it and take it away. But why send a truck all the way back to Litchfield or West Road, and they can just dump it in the parking lot? and
Right.
they can
I
go
mean,
back.
that recycled asphalt's
Yeah.
excellent parking lot material.
And your parking lot will be a little green from the green paint from the basketball court, so
But it definitely needs some material to build that up because the drainage is terrible, especially when you get snowbanks around the outside. It just holds everything in.
Comedians reminded us of that a few times during
Yeah.
the comedy show. The swamp.
All right, so no other field requests? I'm just trying to get caught up since Sandy's not here. I'm going to try and get the minutes done so we have them.
That was it for requests, I think.
All right, any communications?
The only thing I had was what we just talked about, the porta potty,
Okay.
which has been resolved.
So any old business? Any,
Well, if we want to go back to it, that lock, the keypad doesn't work.
It's not working.
No.
It
We're
works
still
for me
using the key.
Sunday.
You did when you punched in the code?
Yeah, I get in every time. Problem is you have to. The handle is difficult. You've got to give it like a second. If you whip on that handle right away, it doesn't work. But you give it a second, pull the handle up, pull it down, get in.
now Granger sells
Okay,
that.
so
I mean, it's been working for me. That's,
Right.
but I figured it out because I
Right, okay.
Would you
don't really know how to get in there.
Handshake.
What about just ordering that piece, that handle from Granger?
In replacing it as is, but are you talking about in using what the internal, the electronics of what's there? Keep
No,
that?
they sell the whole unit.
Oh, okay.
It's like $600. But
is that tied into a computer somehow? Like, does it?
no,
is it wired into the
it's got
building?
an internal memory that you hook up to the. There's a looks like one of those Atari games from 1981. You know, like the little thing where you're going back and forth.
Yeah. Yeah.
And basically that hooks up to that. It takes the information from that and then it brings it and then uploads it to a computer. So it's not the best situation in the world, but it was a very cost-effective way instead of keys and this and that. I mean, ideally, what I'd like to do is, I think, in logistically putting a new alarm pad where next to the bathrooms, put a new door, entrance door with a window, a security window going in there, and then the keypad lock there. Because that's really the entrance that is probably best because it's closest to the stage. Then they can let people in on the stage. They don't have to go across the court. Having a door with a window will give better visibility in there to see what's going on. Also give us some natural light in there so that if there is a power outage, I mean, the battery backups do come on, but those batteries will only last so long. So, and I mean, those two side doors are the only doors we have not replaced, so they're not really all that energy efficient at this point either. So I mean, that's, and then we can leave the front door as it is. Because it still is, we can use it as a key
As a
entry.
key lock, right. You just disable that. Well, I guess you don't have to disable
Just
that.
take the batteries out, and then it won't. But that way we have a second entrance if we need to. If that system goes down, we can always go in the keyed entrance, and that way it's always there for handicap access too.
Do we have a budget for it?
Well, we have a budget for maintenance of the building.
I mean, we do now. We're renewed now, so last year we didn't really, but
Yeah. I wouldn't spend too much right yet, but
well, I mean,
Until the
but the
election's
thing is that if
ratified.
we do, being bottom line, we know that typically we get to the end of the year and we end up reallocating lines to other things, and if that happens, that we
But I
have
think
to
our,
replace
I
that.
think our, for us, I think our default and our voted budget were within like
It's the
a
same,
couple
about the
$100.
same.
oh, okay. right.
So it doesn't really matter what happens. Our budget's really the same.
Yeah.
So would we get the same same keypad system, or will we change that and like modernize to something that's actually like, you're not stuck.
Well, no, but you see that the only reason that was done that way is because of the proximity to the computer. If we put it on that back door,
Right.
we can hardwire it to a computer, or have at least a connection if we bring a laptop in for up in the office
Okay.
because it's right there.
Okay.
I mean, I think it was like $1,100 or something to run the wire to from the office to there because it's.
To the front door. Yeah.
Whereas running it to the office is a piece of cake. And I mean, if we put a keypad for the alarm system there, we can run that wire at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Just like a conduit that sticks to the outside of the wall. It wouldn't have to be run through a wall or anything. I mean, last time we used Langdoor, they're a good distance away, but there's not. I mean, I know last summer when I was trying to get that replaced and have somebody come up, there's nobody that wants to deal with that stuff, especially on a small scale. I mean, if we said, we want the high school doors to be replaced, they'd come out in a heartbeat. But, we're talking one door. It's not worth their time. Or one piece of hardware.
So who would be the, I mean, would you find a contractor to do it, or would you just find a door company that does the installation?
Well, I think it's going to be enough that we're going to have to get. We're not going to have to go out for a sealed bid, but we're going to have to get 3 competitive bids or 3 competitive quotes for it. So I can just put the calls out again and see. Because I mean, I'd like to get an alarm company to do it, because then they could do the alarm, or a security company, and they could do the door. You know,
Well,
they could do
and-
everything at once.
And if we have an alarm company do it in the future when we need maintenance or repairs or something, you go back to the same people, and as
Right.
opposed to like if we go to Granger and say, hey, we can replace this unit, for $600 and just go get it and replace it on our own. Now we're still dealing with if we have problems down the line.
Right.
We have to find somebody to take care of it.
So I'll do that, and then I'll get back to everybody, and maybe we can hopefully have it for the next meeting and vote on it.
Okay.
We gotta. Speaking of which, just reminded me, we gotta refresh our fence bid for.
Well, we want to redo it anyway.
Yeah, we have to. Well, I've been saying we have to change it, so I don't know if we need to get that ready to go out to bid too. I don't know how to do that, so I was hoping you did.
Yeah, I'll just do the one that we had, and then I'll get it to Troy.
Okay.
So, do you have the total of what is in the revolving fund for the field yet? With what was put in there this week?
We are at. I don't have an exact total, but I was in the office last week. Let me just see if she's got it in here. She did send me a doc, but no, it's not in front of me. We're up around 85,000
Well, that's for what we're used. That's for
total.
right use of impact fees plus what's in
Yeah.
the revolving fund.
Yeah.
But we just need to make sure, because that revolving fund's always sort of like seems like it's always behind a curtain. We're just going.
She's got a pretty good account of it. I just gotta find where she sent me the. She sent
I mean,
me.
they
the
have an
form.
account of it, but I don't know if they know. Like I know because some of it was done so long ago with the whole basketball had money that was put in there, and then this was in.
Yeah, I don't think that. I
when
don't
lacrosse
think any of
started.
that's an issue anymore. But I think the problem is that making sure when you do go to check those numbers, that any, like for instance, any outstanding invoices that have already been processed in that, right? So that you know that we spent a bunch of money on this this item. Has that been taken out of the revolving fund already? Otherwise, you're going to get an inaccurate
Right.
amount. The other thing is that it will. Obviously it continues to grow too. So, depending on the amount of construction that's happening in town. New
Well,
homes.
not the revolving fund.
No, right. Yes, I thought you were talking about both.
No.
But so
Well, the impact fees, what's available to us for the baseball field is set. We have
on
to
what
go
was
back
approved,
for more.
on what was approved,
Right.
Right. So then you just have to watch. Say, if you go back and and there's $10,000 in there at this point, and then maybe you spent $3,000 and you go back and there's $12,000. Well,
Right.
you know that some of that money isn't available to you.
Because the plan was we went for what we could do to get the phase 1 and phase 2 done, and then it was like another 38,000 that we were probably going to go back and ask for less what we could fundraise for, and we've got about half of that
Okay.
fundraised.
I have it right here. So in the revolving fund, we have 68,000. The impact fees, we have $68,931 left.
Of what was approved?
Yes.
Or total?
Yeah.
Okay.
What we've fundraised so far, we have $17,564. So that's from fundraising. The 68,000 is from our impact fees that we got from the rec.
Is the revolving fund that money being used towards the construction? of the field?
Just the amount of the revolving fund that the fundraising that went into the revolving fund.
Oh,
this
okay,
This
yeah.
is a specific,
Right.
and I've got it all
It's
itemized.
going to be a
here.
net zero for the revolving
Yeah.
fund, which is, I guess, that's how it's supposed to be.
Right. It's supposed to be it's supposed to be temporary usage, right? You take it out and you host an event because you needed some capital to do so, and then whatever you raise, you put back in,
Right.
and
We're kind of
hopefully we'll
reversing that. We're
surplus.
trying to preload it so that we can pull from it. It was the only venue we had to put the money back into an account for that use.
Right. And allow it to carry over year to year.
Right.
Okay, yeah. Because I have the 1,100 that we paid to the comedians. We pulled down, adding them together, $5,400, and then we took out a couple of different fees. One for one for the New England Pictures, and another one. I don't know why it's taken out twice, but I'll look into that. But yeah, so there's a very good accounting of everything that goes in and out. I just gave her $250 the other day, and that's showing on the spreadsheet. So you're basically asking if, like, this is we're going to use all of this for the Jeff Lane project. Is that what you're?
No, I was just trying to make sure I was trying to get on the same page as you. That was
Okay,
it.
right.
Yeah.
These might be, if you, I don't know if you might have them through your Google Docs. It's right there. I don't know if she had to share them with me or no.
She probably shared them with you, yeah.
Oh, okay.
You're special now. Any word on because the other thing that made me think is I made the front of the sign for the Justin Passett Fields
I have not heard anything from him.
on the town because I mean that's
The sign looked good. I saw that. Yeah.
yeah it's the same. I kept the same design. It's a little bit bigger though. It's 4x8 because it's single sided.
I will see if I can get in touch with him.
With like Darapon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The sign structure, right?
Because the other thing I was thinking is if when you contact him, his designs or whatever he's using for that, maybe if you could send that over to us so we could sort of mimic that for the Justin Passett Field, so that so that way we can start having all the signs in town.
Yeah,
Look
and,
like what
right,
they
because
say.
he was going to mimic Sawmill, right?
Right.
So that those two would be the same, and then do the same for the baseball.
And then we
field.
just have 2 more fields we can eventually do, and basically have all the facilities look the same.
Right. Okay.
Are we going to label Corning Field? Is that what you put some
Yeah.
signage on there? Okay.
I think so. I mean, it's just, people drive by and it's like, what is this? Who runs it? Who's in charge of it? Because it's good to know too, because hey, there's kids hanging out here. It's a town field. Okay, I better let them know. I mean,
It does kind of blow your mind the first time you drive up to it. You're driving through this nice neighborhood, and all of a sudden, there's a baseball field in
Yeah.
between all these houses, and it's a surprise.
well, the bigger surprise is Brickyard.
Yeah.
It's like, what's down that path?
No, usually they can't find the path.
Yeah. But I mean, I think a nice sign out there. I think.
Oh, front, yeah. I mean, the
would have to be a lot smaller, but-
granite thing's already there on the field itself.
Right. I'm just saying to get people.
We could put a
yeah.
sign. We could put a sign about this big that says that that it's in his field, and then we could put a sign this big that says no parking in front of somebody's house.
Right.
They'd only read the Innisfield one.
Yeah.
Oh, you park on lawns? Okay.
Pay attention to the parking signs, even though they don't really make sense in some
Yeah.
spots.
I at some point I'm going down there with a
You're on
Wrench
tape right
and-
now.
move them around. I've been saying that for 6 years. I haven't done it yet, so it's not going to happen.
So another item of old business. I did talk to Troy about the private use of town hall. About and other towns do it, and trying to find out. He wasn't really familiar with exactly how they had that structured as far as liability and that kind of coverage.
Right.
But he gave me some recommendations on places to look into that he was familiar with, where they do allow those things, and try and get. So I'll try and get some documentation from them on what they, what their authorization form or contract or agreement is, and we can go from there and decide if it's something that we want to try and make work for us or keep status quo.
I think the hardest part is going to be opening and closing the building.
Right.
Who does that? And setting the alarm. I mean, you obviously can't give everything to everybody, and
Well, and
one of us is going to have to go over there and open it, and one of us will have to make sure everything's clean and close it, right?
but really, yes, I think that's. I mean, it's probably that's the most thorough way to do it is have one of us do it. But I mean, we're supposed to have a system where we can give a temporary code to somebody to get in.
Right, but I mean, it's
We need to familiarize them. There's
I mean,
really
don't get me wrong. My guess, and we'll see when all the information comes back, is my guess is other towns, which are probably a little bit bigger or probably structured differently, is there's someone who maintains that property, and therefore, when someone rents it out, they're there the whole time. And, you know,
it could be. Yeah.
well. I mean, we have a position that's has been voted on. It's a rec
Yeah, I
coordinator
forget- I
or
forget
something of
what
that
we-
nature. That's on the books. There's a-
Administrator or something.
It's
yeah.
got a zero budget line, but it's something that if we wanted to do something like this, what we can do is we can charge for a private use to say, look, there's a $50 fee that goes into the revolving fund, and then we pay somebody to basically go down, open it up for them, and check after them, and
right.
you know, and maybe $100 cleaning deposit or security deposit
Yeah,
or something.
deposit. Right.
And then they get 50 of it back or whatever. And that way it's, you know, it's not one of us sitting down there at the shed waiting for them to get the chairs out and then when can you meet me and do that, you know, it's, I mean, there's enough people in town that somebody would, you know, like we kind of did with the shoveling, you get two people maybe for that position, so that one of the two and say, hey, we got an event coming in on Thursday. Can either of you guys do this? And maybe do it when we get the request. Just say, okay, can we line somebody up? We don't have anybody available to let you in that day. Yeah.
But again, I think it's more, we got to see what
Right.
what
Right.
comes from whatever Troy gives us.
I think my understanding in the conversations we had before that it was less about the logistics of getting somebody in and out and making sure it was clean and more about the liability aspect of it
Right.
for us.
Because they need to have an insurance rider.
The
of some
discretion, our discretionary ability to say yes to some or no to others, and, you know, and,
Yeah.
and how to handle that, I'm not sure.
sort. All right. Any new business? We're now on to other. Any other?
We're doing it for real tonight, huh?
Well, I figured might as well. I'm going right down the. All right. If there's no new business, no other, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Carries 4-0-0. So, as our only motion